Hello, this is IP Stories by 4IP Council, a podcast about innovation and intellectual property. Join us and you'll hear about the journeys through invention, creation, and IP understanding of our guests. I'm Fernanda.
And I'm Marta, and today we have invited to have a chat with us Miguel Salas Natera. Miguel, thank you so much for having this conversation with us. First of all, could you tell us more about yourself and your career?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me and having the opportunity to participate in this forum. I do really appreciate it. Well, I would like to start with my motivation. I grew up in a house with engineers at home, and my grandfather was a kind of telecommunication engineers and having many radios and antennas at home. So this is part of my ADN, as well as my father was also engineer. But of course, that was my initial motivation. After that, I decided to start studies in Venezuela. I was born in Venezuela, in the Universidad of Carabobo, and I studied telecommunication engineer there. And after that, I decided to come to Spain, uh, trying to complete my study, making the PhD on active antenna array for satellite communication system. Right, by the end of my PhD, I start with the master on space technology, also in parallel, and I complete both in the same month, in the same year. So it was a very
Busy
difficult
year.
challenge. Yeah, that was one of my first challenge.
Yeah, I
The-
can imagine.
and after that, I got to the industry in one of my into one of my first participation in a spin-off. And in parallel, I was professor, associate professor in the UAM, the Universidad Autónoma of Madrid, for a couple of years, and then I go back to the UPM, in which I won a position to be professor in the UPM. So I've been professor in the UPM since 2017, and I'm working in the School of Telecommunication, which is a very large school in the Department of Signal System and Radio Communication. This is my department, and I own to the research group Grupo de Radiación, which is I have to say I'm sorry for that, but this is one of the most important group in the department, if they allowed me to say that. And of course, regarding the UPM and the school, I have to say that we have a very large volume of projects with more than 20 million of Europe per year in international projects. So this is very important to mention because we are a reference in our sector.
And I can already sort of like tell why, but I would like to ask you as well, why is tech transfer important to you? Why, or let's say, how do you leave tech transfer at work?
Okay, maybe from my self experience at home, my father works in the industry, and my grandfather also uh, was a developer of antenna radio technologies, and I grew up with that at home. And when I was, let's say, completing my engineer career, my degree, my father has his own company. I saw at home how they work in the industry, trying to help and to develop a system solution and so on.
Hmm.
And that's maybe something I cannot avoid. There's inside myself. So
Hmm.
this is maybe why this is very important for me. I need to see the solutions transmitted or transferred to the society. And nowadays we are in a very important field because today's society is, let's say, wants to be fully connected all the time. And this is something that we
Hmm.
can see in the kids. They think connectivity is something natural, not the tree.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
To make it easier for us and our audience to understand your work, could you tell us one or more projects you have recently worked on?
Well, that's a good question, Fernando. Thank you very much. Well, I would like to divide it in two parts because from system analysis we work in from the university as advisor, and we have worked together with private companies very important like Ispasat and others here. And in the last year, we have been working in the analysis and development of intersatellite link system, but from the perspective to check the feasibility of the new constellation for satellite communication services point to point with let's say with low latency systems, and this is one of our let's say our task in transfer technology from the university, taking into account that we have a background in the system
Mhm.
analysis, but also we have other kind of projects more focused on the development of components, new technology components, and we have recently completed one with the European Space Agency, which is within in the framework of the project Kubiku, and the
Mhm.
project was called Polaris in the university, and it was about the development of new calibration source for CMB ground stations, CMB ground station. And I'm very proud because in that project we have had a very nice team with the student of the university, and they
Mhm.
work a lot to have really good results. So this was a very nice example. This is from, let's say, from the system analysis and product or technology development. But we can also talk about business development. So in
Mhm.
this case, we have been involved in the development of a new technology for onboard airplane SATCOM terminals. And this is very nice because we have been working together with the most important international operators, and also they have a very large experience in developing this kind of technology, and I have to say I have learned
Mhm.
a lot, and I have enjoyed all the meetings and all the process during those initiatives. So
Mhm.
that we have that.
Yeah, it seems that it's really nice that you're still learning so much with these projects. I have to ask you, you have participated as principal investigator in several international projects which transfer to industry. What could you tell us about building successful collaborations with industrial partners?
Thank you for your question, Fernanda. This is a never-end work, of course, and we need to generate confidence with the partners in the industry, and of
Right.
course, we need also to have an extra work in parallel out of the projects in order to find the funds, to have meetings, to travel, and to visit the industry. At the times, we provide a kind of a service in order to provide solution as an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, the idea here is to have the confidence of the sector in which you work by doing well the work, because we may have several opportunities, and I'm proud to be part of the University of UPM because we have a lot of opportunity there, but you know that we cannot have a failure. I mean, a failure make so much damage to your image and the image of the university. So we need
Mm-hmm.
to be very consistent during the development of the project, not only to win the projects, but also to have the confidence along the time.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure to get to
Yeah.
the point of that having that confidence, I guess.
Yes, a lot of, a lot of.
Mm. I would like to know in these projects, you already mentioned a few, but what challenges did you need to overcome?
Well, thank you, Marta, for that question, because from the industry, point of view, I think this is very important to clarify that we need to demonstrate that we are, even when we are a small team into a very large institution, we have to be capable to follow up the quality process, even from the university, and also to follow up all the project management issues. So this is one of the challenges that we have when we compete with the private industry, of course. From ourselves, sometimes it's difficult to find out solid support about management, and besides, sometimes it's difficult to work with our college because we are working in the same field, and it makes it easier to work with some researcher outside of the institution. But this is important to say that in the collaboration, there we are stronger, and we have much more opportunities, and we have to work in that line. And in general, we are, as we say before, we are just researcher and professor, and we are not the businessmen, and that make a very large difference because sometimes we have to swim with people that are uh, comfortable in business case, and we are not. We are not. So
Yeah.
those are maybe the most challenges situation we can find out.
Thank you for being so honest and telling us about this. Yes, I can imagine that. Yeah, it's difficult to compete, but at the same time, it's great that you have to face those challenges because I'm sure that also makes the university better. You know.
Uh, Even that, we have a large support from the university because they have a large number of programs giving support to the technology transfer. That
Mhm.
we have to clarify that so also because we are not just alone, but we are small into a very large institution.
Okay, then maybe you could tell us a little bit more about this. Then, like what's currently the UPM doing to encourage tech transfer?
Well, they have many programs.
Hmm.
Well, UPM has entrepreneurship programs like Actua UPM, which is one of them. I will share with you the links in order you to have them later, of course.
Great.
They also have the Office of International Projects that help us a lot because there are too many management issues that I have to be honest. We don't have the capability to attend all of them, and we have that
Hmm.
support. Also, there is a different programs or different programs of innovation and commercialization of technology, also supported by the UPM, as well as the unit of I don't know how to say that in English. We have a unit that supports us for the creation of a spin-off, that which is
Hmm.
very important because sometimes there's different ways to make the technology transfer. I will say not only to the industry but also to the society.
Yeah.
We have uh, private projects direct with the industry in which we can develop technology, and we can work together with the industry in order to have to transform one idea or one technology to a product.
Hmm.
But also there's a program that helps the researcher and professor to create new companies, a spin-off. And that's as another way to make a transfer. Of course, that ones have a different challenge, which are, I have to say, very important ones.
Yes, yes, we have interviewed in this podcast founders of spin-offs coming from universities and research groups. Um, I would like to know a little bit more about this topic. Actually, I would like to know your perspective on what do you think should be the approach of a university to entrepreneurship and tech transfer.
Well, this is not a very easy question. I have participated in two spin-offs. Asisol one. Asisol was the first one, but I was not a co-founder, and I has participated also in the last year as a co-founder in Ubiquitous. I have to say there's a lot of things to do. Uh, first of all, I have to clarify that this is a very hard work uh, for a professor, for a researcher, because you need to invest a lot of your own time to take apart sometimes your family and some priorities. And from the business perspective, you need to have the role as a business developer. Sometimes we are not, so you have to learn about that. And you have to travel in order to visit the partners to make the confidence between the spin-off, the university, and the customers. And from the university, well, I have to say that we have a very nice support, but we have still a lot of things to do, because maybe our biggest disadvantage is that we have just a small participation on the spin-off. What that means? That means that the university and the researcher are providing a technology with a complete set of capabilities in order to transform a technology to a product. We are not just a researcher. We know how to make the transfer and to build a product. And in the other side, there's an investor which sometimes has a background related with the topic and sometimes no. But in all of the case, they are businessmen, and we have a different point of view with respect that the one we have from the university. And after two cases, I have to say that we need maybe a framework agreement between university researchers and spin-off in order to make clear the rules in the game, because sometimes this is the more difficult for a successful end in an enterprise in this kind of initiative. So I hope this helped. But if I have to give an advice, make clear the agreement between the partners and make clear the rules between institution, spin-off, and professors. This is very, very important.
As a lawyer, I would always advise that have all the rules very clear, make an agreement that it's fair to everyone. Of course, when you have a business relationship, everyone wants to take a little bit more. But as you said, you are the ones that are discovering or building up a tech that could and transforming into a product. So as a lawyer, I would always say that. And continuing with the lawyer talk, what is, in your opinion, the relationship between research and IP in the satellite communications field?
Well, in the satellite communication, in fact, we have a kind of a new international market which is under development, because thanks to the effort of the industry, I will start from the beginning. They have reduced the cost of the launcher, the launch sector, and that makes possible to introduce new technologies in the space segment, and that makes the opportunity to new companies to provide new technologies. So that's why we are talking nowadays about new space era. So that means that we have new companies, new technologies, and new concepts working together in this field. So this is good time to develop new technology, to demonstrate your capacities, and try to get into in-orbit demonstration or in-orbit validation programs to have novel technologies in this field. This is important when we are talking in an international framework, that if you have the IPR of some of the technology you are working with, you are going to be somehow safe within healthy competition in this new, let's say, in this new path. So I don't know if that was very clear, but I think Spain is a good example of what is happening in the space segment, because we have many new companies, many very good new companies in this field. We can mention some of them, but just 3 days before, we have the good news about PLD launch with their rockets, Mira 1. And this is very, very good news for Spanish industry in this sector. Of course, there is a lot of IP, intellectual property, and there is a lot of to do about new technology and to work together to continue in this line.
And what has been your experience filing patents to protect your technology? I mean, I hear you talking, and it seems like such a complicated technology that I can only imagine all the claims and everything.
Well, Fernanda, from my point of view, well, to fill in the patents, I mean, to write the paperwork was not so difficult. Let's say we have
Okay.
a department in the university
Mm-hmm.
which helped us a lot about writing the patent,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a team that give us the support how to do that. So that is not the hard part. The hard part is to develop a technology
Mm-hmm.
which is have to be as simple as possible in order to be very suitable for different application, and
Mm-hmm.
also to be very interesting for the international projects. And of course, once you have one simple idea, it has not been so complicated, but it has to be a solution for complicated system. So this is from my point of view. Maybe another researcher have a different opinion in this case, but I prefer to have a pattern about simple solution that are going to be suitable for different projects. In this line, I have to say that thanks to that we have international patents, not only in Europe but also in the US. We have kind of shielding in order to avoid the interruption of the project, and in order to avoid a third party to get into our field to develop our technology. So that is kind of protection, but it's not always the same. Nowadays, I know that this is a kind of protection when you work with very important partners, because a small partner sometimes doesn't care about IPR. But the conclusion is that if you have IPR, if you have a patent, and you have an international patent, this for sure will help you in international projects.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you another difficult question. So I would like to know, because you have mentioned loads of different challenges, particularly in the international projects and having to lead with so many different agents. And I would like to know, up until this point of your career, what has been the biggest challenge that you had to face?
Well, here we have to be serious. No, kidding. Uh, no, well, to be a researcher trying to make transfer technology, but also being a father with kids. I have to say that's the most important thing we have to clarify here, that because this is the biggest challenge. Also, I have the support of my family. Otherwise, we cannot invest that amount of time, but also the support of the team. in the university and the people who is with you in the research group, in the office, that give you also a very, very good support. Sometimes the biggest challenge is to put all of that together and to make that the team works well. But also in practice, let's say, I have received a broken company, and in 2 years I put that in safe position with the personnel and so on, trying to give back a healthy company with healthy balance, thanks to the achievement of several projects in few years. And for sure, this was about time and effort and not sleeping well during several months. But this is part of the experience, and of course, I have to say that at the end, I win much more than what I invest in experience, in networking, and so on.
I'm wondering if you sleep at all, because being a father and having to put a company in a good position again, that's very challenging.
Yeah,
But
and being a professor at the same time.
all at the same time.
Yes,
Yeah.
so well, you discover the limits of your body,
Okay.
and then you have to say stop.
But to complement Marta's question, what achievements are you most proud of?
Well, being a father, of course, I'm very proud of that. To have my family, also to see my student with a strong background, going out from my team to the industry, and to participate in this technology transfer from in the first line, let's say. I'm very proud of them. Uh, Also, I'm very proud of the technology and the solution and let's say, the transfer to the industry, because we have uh, we have demonstrated that a few researchers, or let's say a team of researchers of our university, are capable to develop new business areas, like the case of the onboard airplane terminal, giving the industry the opportunity to have profits in short term higher than 10 millions of euros, and that's a very that's a very nice achievement, I think, because that means that you are promoting somehow, I don't know how to say that, yes, the industry to be able to contract more engineers that you are given the opportunity from the university. So there's a loop which is can be closed somehow. If you are in the different part of the loop, of course, you feel much better. I think we have to be proud of that. Not only me, but all of the professors in the university.
Yes, definitely. And while we are getting close to the end. We still have a couple of questions for you. But I would like to know, how do you envision the future of space technology?
Okay, well, this is very interesting. If you allowed me, I would like to say that there are a couple of conferences in Spain that uh, talk about this in detail, and they have a very nice room tables also. I will share with you the links at the end. But in new space, maybe we have to talk about scenarios. Uh, let's move to the moon. In the short term, we are going to have a relay station in the moon, and this is something real. And we have been developing new system concept, because some people are going to live for a short period in the moon. So we need to provide them their technologies, services, and so on. So there, even apart from the fact that we have a reduction of cost in the launch segment, and we have new um, new companies, very strong companies like Starlink, making constellation, and small companies like um, Hydra or UARTS or other from new space technology, making new products, yeah, and providing new service in IoT, 5G, and so on. Also, we have, as human, we have a new challenge, and we need to move out somehow. And the first place is to move to the moon, because we need to find out some new resource. And there, for that, we need to develop new technologies, and we do have new kind of services. Of course, you can imagine that we are going to need some satellites to relay the information from the moon and the Earth. We need to have new rockets to transport the people from the Earth to the moon. We need to have new buildings. The environment there is completely different. We need to take the oxygen and the energy from the ice in one of the side of the moon, and so on. So there's not only in telecommunication field, but I think in all of the field that we have, taking into account technology development, we have a challenge.
It sounds like science fiction.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just thinking about the same. I'm like, I cannot believe this is your reality. You deal with this every day. You have to think about the solutions. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, I have to say that that's why we go to the conference and to visit the industry in workshop, because they know what they need, and sometimes what they transfer to you is like a movie. If you see the advance from the NASA about the moon relay station, this is like fiction.
Well, as our last question, do you have any recommendations for other universities, researchers, and students?
Well, never stop even you get tired. Sometimes we get tired, but you have to breathe and to continue if you believe in what you are doing, and never lose the motivation. This is the most important here. And you have to find out the motivation and a field in which you feel comfortable, in which you feel you can provide a contribution, and try to follow up that motivation. And of course, try to get together in the table, because this is important to sit down and to discuss and to put all the ideas together sometime. I don't know that maybe this is a very good question, and we can have a kind of a philosophy conversation here, discussion here, but for sure, the most important is to follow up your motivation and to sit down with your friends, college, and other researchers and university to find out the way to move forward.
Right, absolutely. This is great advice, and thank you so much, Miguel, for being here with us today, taking the time to talk to us and our listeners.
Well, thank you very much to you both, Marta and Fernanda, for this very nice conversation, discussion, and exchange. For sure, I do really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you for listening to IP Stories by 4IP Council. Visit our website on 4ipcouncil.eu to find out more and check out the links mentioned during this episode. If you liked it, remember to share and subscribe.